Josias, we're back. Third time.
We are, yeah. For fourth appearance, but third time on my own.
Yes,
I
that's
did
right.
one
Because you
with,
came on with Andy from
that's right,
Oxford,
Oxford
Oxford
City, Oxford
City,
City Football Club. Yeah.
Oxford City Football Club. Yeah, man. Look, what's the update on that? How are they doing?
They got promoted. You probably would have seen. They're not doing too well in the league. I think they're milling around the bottom. But the season's not finished yet. In terms of how they were the Bitcoin adoption, is doesn't appear to be happening anymore. My ties have changed from there. My responsibility and roles have changed there. Coin Corner no longer sponsor, but we had the season. We had a successful season with the Bitcoin logo on the back with the adoption in terms of Lightning payments on site. So they can never take that away from us.
No, and a lot of orange pills, orange touch points, actually, not pills,
Exactly.
or a lot of
Exactly.
orange seeds planted. And it's such a shame because I mean I can't speak on behalf of Danny and the team over at Coin Corner, and I'd like to think that they would have carried on sponsoring them, but because of the updated regulations in the UK, thanks to the FSA, you're not allowed to market your services if you are deemed a, in air quotes, crypto company, which is a disaster. And even to the point where all Coin Corner customers, plebs, had to kill their affiliate links. You weren't even allowed to share around affiliate links anymore. It's just so
It's a
backward.
it's a farce. It's backward, as you say. You can see what's happening in the States and in all other countries. We're meant to be, or we were told, the UK is going to be a crypto hub. It's never going to happen with the actions they're taking, and just it makes a mockery of what government role is in people's lives.
And what was shocking to see, which I was tagged in on, I can't remember who was tweeting it around. Uh, there was an FT article positively talking about Coinbase or Kraken or Binance. I can't remember, one of the three shitcoin casinos in the FT in a London newspaper. So you've you've blocked you've blocked the one, good actor in the space, Coin
Yeah,
Corner, based on the Isle of Man, been around for over 10 years, doing great work with Bitcoin and Lightning and whatever else, and education. They can't reach the masses, but at the same time, then you go and shill like American-based companies, and you're like, what is
it's
going on?
it's all incentive structures, corruption, and I'm fourth year in the Bitcoin space, and I call it my master's year, and I am sick to the back teeth of it. And you know the meme of when you get into Bitcoin, the faces of is it who's a famous actor, and it shows his face in different stages, and at the fourth stage he's like long hair, big beard, Matthew McConaughey,
Right, right,
yeah.
McConaughey, yes, yeah.
Okay, I feel like I'm at that stage now. Like you have the metronome from RDBTC, whereas what if Orange for the World? Fuck them, back and forth, like constantly between those two phases. Had enough.
Yeah, it's tough, mate. It's tough when you see like these regulations that make no sense being pushed on us. And like Freddie at Bitcoin Policy Institute UK is doing some great work, and he went along to that crypto meeting in air quotes again, and was just blown away by the level of knowledge there, i.e., zero,
Done. Yeah,
absolutely zero. And so we're beholden to these people that don't care, don't understand, and are just towing some party line just to make sure that their career is in check and they should be able to progress up the ladder at some stage, rather than actually take the deep dive into what this is, what this means, what it could mean for their constituents, what it could mean for their immediate communities, let alone humanity at large. But if you're like a local politician, least you should be doing is figuring out how to better and enrich the lives of those people that you're supposed to serve.
yeah.
Gone
Well,
are
this is the
those
intro to
thoughts.
your podcast, isn't it? What Bitcoin can mean for you, your family, and the world.
Yeah, exactly, mate. Anyway, so here we are, both sat in the UK. We've got better things to talk about than the state of politicians and regulators and bureaucrats. We've got to talk about football competition and winning the damn thing, and orange pilling. Orange pilling is, well, who knows how many people are going to end up watching this.
Yeah.
So
But
let's
there's,
let's
there's so much to unpack, and I don't think we'll have enough time, but we'll do our best. But going back to the third appearance, I did mention it in the WhatsApp chat. Here's a
Yes.
Bitcoin baller ball football for yourself and Samuel to play with. I'll be bringing it to Madeira.
The hat
Um,
trick ball.
I mentioned it in the last episode, didn't I? So true to my word, I have one now that I'm going to bring up for you guys.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Yeah, and Madeira, we've got to talk about that as well. All right. So, by way of introduction, for those that haven't listened to our previous podcasts or any of your own shows or seen you on Why We Are Bullish, I know you've been on there with Ben as well.
Yeah.
Why don't you let people, get them up to speed? What were you doing before Bitcoin quickly, and what led you to Bitcoin, and now the passion project that we're going to talk about?
So I'm gonna suppress 4 years in hopefully about 60 seconds. Um, Former construction project manager in 2020, COVID year, call it the year of the awakening, grand awakening. I left my role as a construction project manager and focused on health and wellness. With that free time that I had in between August and October, I was figuring out my space, my role in the world, and how I could help people. A friend of mine in the group chat said he wants to speak about crypto. First word he said was do your own research. I did a month of deep dive, listening, reading, watching. By the end of October, I was like, wow, this is it. My mind is blown. This is what I meant to do. So I started to learn about Bitcoin a lot more, joined learning groups. I joined a learning group yourself, Daniel. Um, what that then led to a conversation with John Vanis. I mention this all the time to people. Famous last words. I'm after a Bitcoin job, John. I'm not a software engineer. I'm not a developer. Why don't you provide value in your community? He said. And that night, I launched my project, Bitcoin Ballers, August 2021. I'm sorry, not August. March. This is March 2021. By April 2021, the 21st, it was launched. Block height 680005. And it's just been a whirlwind of a journey since that date. What started as just stuff as an Instagram page, interacting with people, rewarding them with sets and games and prizes, then to have in real life games, people doing skills and tricks, then entering teams into competitions, hosting my own competitions, going to where do I go to? Like Amsterdam, then going to Madeira, and then leading up to this massive tournament in June in Cary, North Carolina, which we have one foot on the football pitch, and we're trying to get that second foot on to be announced as a team that will play.
So why was it football for you? When John said go and add value in your community, why did all of the sats suddenly drop into line and you have that epiphany?
Like many young boys and girls, when I was younger, I loved football, wanted to be a professional footballer. Almost made it. I call myself a nearly man in the fact that I left school and did my 3 year apprenticeship or scholarship, as we called it. Didn't get offered a pro contract. Played semi-pro football for a few years after. Um, in the back of my mind, I always wanted to do it. Fast forward 15 years after leaving, after not getting an offer the contract, I'm a construction project manager and thinking I was never meant to be here. My passion was football. What happened? So when John mentioned provide value in your community, I understand and I can see the parallels between the fundamentals and principles of Bitcoin and football. We talk about stuff like proof of work, fighting the FUD, like which is your self belief, proof of work, your performance on the pitch, doing your due diligence, your training. There's so many crossovers that I thought I can help people understand Bitcoin through football, but I can also make people better with their football skills. I can train them as myself as a coach, and they might not understand the terminology I'm using, but when we talk about low time preference, if you want to be a pro footballer, it's not gonna happen overnight. It takes years. And if it doesn't happen in the time scale that you set yourself, like I had 3 years to become a pro, didn't quite happen. It could happen in the next 6, 7 years. I know it's really good now, incredible stories. Like there's a player I used to play with 10 years ago. He's a little bit younger than me, but he's just gone full time in his mid 20s. And the reason why it was offered to him, he just had a young child. He said, it allows me time freedom. So I'm playing football full time, but I'm not working. So I can enjoy my young son and I'll never get this opportunity again. It's like, why would you not do it? Even if the contract lasts for 1 or 2 years, you can then go back to his I'm gonna say fiat job, to his normal job, which he worked hard to get to. But yeah, it's all about opportunities. Take the opportunities, and who knows where it can go.
Absolutely, mate. So you're still harboring a few hopes that somebody's going to come knocking one day.
I am never say never. We joked last time, but I watch football regularly now. My son plays, and I look and think I could do a job there. And because my fitness levels now where they probably were when I was younger, because I focus a lot on that. I think the knees may not last 90 minutes, but I think I could still do a job.
For sure, mate. Well, and it's like the, and this is what I talked to my son Samuel about a lot, because like all of us when we were 13, if you're into football, all you want to do is be a professional footballer. For us growing up, it was nowhere near as much as, you know, it's so prevalent now. You
Mm.
could probably like turn on the television at any time of day and have it streamed at you. I remember we just have to used to wait until the video printer scores came up at three, like yeah, 4:45 on a Saturday afternoon, and Des Lynam would be reading them out, and you might, your team might, if you were lucky, be featured on Match of the Day that evening, where you get to see like 8 minutes of them play. But now it's just ridiculous, like the exposure they have to it. But that comes with a lot of high time preference exposure, is
Yeah.
the only way to kind of describe that. All of the flash in the pan wonder boys, players that are coming over for 10, 20, 30, 50, 80 million or something. There was none of that when I was growing up watching football. And I wonder how, well, you're the man on the point. How is that affecting kids' mindsets now? Like when you apply what they've been exposed to what we were exposed to, you must see a huge difference.
So it's twofold, and a friend of mine explained it to me quite well. We live in a total football world. You mentioned that you can turn on the telly anytime, which means they're exposed to good football, and also they can have access to players. They can see the skills or tricks. They can emulate it. And when I was growing up, you might watch it on TV. They got their devices. They can have their device with them when they're at the training ground to practice those tricks. But what we're now finding or creating are those high time preference 15 seconds. It's not even 50 minutes of fame. 15 seconds of fame, skills or mindset. So when I was a coach last season, we have the video cameras after the game. No matter what the score was, can we have the video? What for? I want to clip it. Now, myself and the other manager knew they're not watching and clipping the video to think, what did I do wrong? It's for that I did a skill there. And one time, somebody asked for it in the group chat and I didn't respond. And they deleted the message because they knew what my response was going to be. Boys, we lost. And the first thing you've asked for is the video. Don't tell me it's to watch, oh, what I can improve on. You want that clip where you made a sliding tackle. Like, it's difficult because I understand. I wish I had that technology when I was younger because I would make some great clips. But it's like understand what you're doing. Yes, you did something good, so you want to applaud that. But think about why you want to assess the video. What is what you're going to use a tool for? It is a tool, so use it to look back on your game, to assess it, but make that the first point, and then actually I did something good. I'm going to use that for my reel, my profile. So yeah, it's twofold. Players are getting better technically. They understand the game a lot better as well. But it's just the game as a whole. What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, man, and you're right that they're just looking to put that on Instagram, and the whole reason is to get some likes or a little bit of that dopamine hit,
Yeah.
rather than you could collect all of those clips in a low time profile way, make a folder out of it, look at it, study it, figure out what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. Because what a powerful tool to be able to see yourself and slow motion and figure out, did I come in too quick? Should I have stood up? Should I, all of this kind of stuff. Or even collate that for if you want to approach a university or something for a scholarship, abroad, you could have that reel of stuff. But if you're just posting it up there on Instagram because it's for the likes and the lols, like that's
Well,
that's what we got to battle.
I'm tempted to flip it on its head with a project that I'm doing with Bitcoin Ballers Academy. Um, Literally what you just said, creating your clips. So I'll call it like a pyramid. We want that 15-second clip or those groups of 15-second clips that you can create a reel, okay? But those 15 seconds clips, they don't just happen by themselves. So you need to train. So that's underneath the pyramid. What are you working on to train, okay? And are you training for a week, a month, or a year? So we talk about the whole season. So when you create that pyramid, for those clips of 15 seconds, the base layer, it might take 2-3 seasons for you to create that special 1 minute that's going to get you noticed. So I'm bringing it back. I'm flipping it on its head. I'm saying to young people on my website, on my YouTube channel, I will host your clips, your proof of work. So you go out and create it. And then when you create it, I will do my bit. I will share it with the community. I'll put your LNUR QR code on there so you can earn value for value at the same time. But it's not going to be a case of, oh, here's a clip where I did a tackle and I did nothing else. I want to see a whole season's work. I want your proof of work for this season and next season and the season after. But yeah, it's the education part, and I'm using Bitcoin as the medium, because football is a medium, using Bitcoin as the education. And again, it gets to a point where we want to be talking about Bitcoin and people not necessarily needing to know what Bitcoin is. We don't talk about fiat. We do so, but normal people don't talk about the pound or yen as a way of educating people. We're using Bitcoin, but we want to get to the stage where proof of work, do your own research just becomes normal vocabulary of young people.
Have you had any little success stories there from any of the lads that have just like started stacking for themselves and talking to other friends about it?
So I've got the 4 ballers signed up. One young boy, Frankie, he was the first one. He's just a teenager now, actually, but he went away to Japan last year. He was the first one to stack sats through Ibex Pay, through the platform they use, powered by Ibex, which was a way for just to have his QR code. People from all over the world could follow his progress. I kept everyone updated via Twitter, and they could send them sat. But I have 3 young ballers who play semi-professional football now. A couple of them were already Bitcoiners. My son is one of them. They understand it, but what I have planned next, they're going to understand it a lot more. And it's not that they'll be forced to, but they're going to be immersed in it and they're going to understand it. The fact that now I've been approved as my primo Bitcoin or my first Bitcoin educator, so I'm going to deliver their diploma to the young boys in the academy. We're slowly enrolling them. That launches the middle of this month, so they're going to get football training and a Bitcoin education mixed together. So there's no way they can't hide from it.
Mate, that's amazing. So let's talk about Mi Prima then, because they're doing great work. So who did you get in touch with? If anybody else is in the UK, I know Bitcoin Policy Institute are going to work with them as well, and the school teachers that are working behind the scenes to get the Mi Prima into their curriculum somehow, or at least after school clubs.
Yeah,
I think that's so great.
Spoke with Huxley last week, and we have plans to collaborate. But I think I just reached out. It's Quinton and John who I've been speaking with, but you could apply to be a node. That was it last year. So we called a light node. So they have the main node in El Salvador, where they deliver the diploma, but they're offering people the opportunity to deliver the diploma. It's open source, so you can adapt it as you see fit. I'll obviously be taking a football take, but there are other people within the node network which putting their take on it. Said Huxley, you said, was doing it after school clubs. You've seen videos of him doing their seed signers after school in the workshop. They're incredible what he's doing. But so I applied to be a node. Didn't hear anything back. Then chased it up, and it just so happened there was a process. So like Bitcoin, had to be consensus. So all the other nodes had to vote. Then I had an email from Quinton to say, "Yep, the community has voted that we welcome to the network." So yeah.
That's awesome. I was just on a chat with Quentin last night, actually. So it's it's nice to hear that you've got that sorted out. And what about like the football stuff? What's that like in the UK? Do you have to be a registered, certified coach or anything like that?
So yes, to work for a club, you have to have certain level of qualifications. I have my level 2. There are other levels that you can go through, and you have to do your safety checks, welfare and everything, child protection, stuff like that. But obviously with terms with what I'm doing, I am creating my own sort of lane. So I'm guessing at some point there will be eyes upon me and asking questions. But for me, it's like I'm offering a service to people. I'm delivering value. I went through a phase maybe last year where I was a pander to people. Something happened last year, and I've decided now, making a minute ago, fuck it. I understand what I understand. People can have questions and ask me, but nobody can dismiss what I'm doing, and nobody can try and take away what I've achieved so far. And what happened, what the change was, an opportunity was missed by a young person. I was asked to remove something from socials, and I did. And looking back now, nothing may have happened from this opportunity, but something may have. And that person was denied an opportunity for the sake of someone else. And they may not they had what do you call it? Had a right to ask the question, but I shouldn't have pandered to them. That's on me, and so that
Mm.
can't happen again.
Damn, man. That's clearly playing on your mind.
But there was so much in it. In obviously in the Bitcoin space, we recognize certain things, and this young man achieved something incredible, and it should have been applauded. He should have been congratulated, and he should have been able to receive value for that.
Why was it? You don't have to. We don't have to pry if you don't want
Yeah.
to. But I'm just asking, why were they so
Uh, the,
keen
the the
to have it
reasoning
taken
was
off?
the reason was is he's a young man. We don't want it to go to his head, which I understand that young people. If you're out
Medals
there,
for everybody, right? You know, everybody must be the same. We can't have that tall poppy in the field. Let's cut him down. Mate. And that's what people actually get trained into believing as well.
Mm.
This is what's crazy. And you've probably seen it with all like the what's the buzzword in the UK right now? Safeguarding.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be like shouting about safeguarding and stuff. And you're like, what on earth are you? And us homeschool people are the crazies. Like, so wait, you want me to give up my child at the age of 5 because you've got a safeguarding certificate? Why would you need a safeguarding? What goes on in that institution in the first place? You know, it's all right.
Back in
I'll
the
keep them
day,
home with me.
yeah,
You
we
know,
just call it looking after your kids back in the day, and
yep.
now you need to. I understand why certain things are in place because the world isn't what it used to be. There are some evil people out there, but you add in a layer of bureaucracy, and then you argue again incentive structures. Why are we doing it to this level? Who's benefiting from it the most? And if
Do
you
you
follow
see?
that, you normally follow the money.
Exactly, mate. That's all you need to do, right? And in yeah, what do you see in because I was over talking to my brother the other day, and I think his son had a really good important match coming up, and but all of a sudden it was on the wobble because there might not be a referee available. I'm like, what? Why? Like, isn't that never used to be a thing? But I'm guessing all of the regulatory creep is just creeping in all parts of the game.
Yeah, possibly. I'm in various group chats and on social media. You see most weekends, oh, looking for a referee seems to be in short supply. Another reason for that may be because of the way referees get treated by players and also by parents on the sideline. I hear some harrowing stories. Um, there is a respect that's probably been lost between people and not to say people on authority, but the referee on the pitch is doing a job. It's a job that I'd never want to do. I said there's two jobs that you don't get any thanks for, no matter how what you do, is being a traffic warden and a referee.
Yeah, exactly, mate. All right, okay. The soccer tournament. What what's going on?
TST, the soccer tournament, arguably the best, biggest football tournament in the world. They had the first one last year. It's called TST. It's taken from the basketball tournament TBT. But last year, I was made aware of it by Hashtag United. So you know who Hashtag United are?
No.
They're a social media team or not influencer team. Yeah, social media team that gained notoriety by working through the league. So they play some professional football, but they just started off as a non-league side. A guy put a team together and they called themselves Hashtag United. Done very well, similar to what Real Bedford have planned. Um, but they have a massive social media presence. They were at the tournament. I was watching one of the guys on Instagram, and he was doing a photo shoot, and I'm like, "What's this? Like, you seem to be in America. I know who you are. I've met the guy. What's going on?" So I followed the tournament and watched it, and I just thought I want to be there. So I watched the whole tournament, watched the final. They have a few different rules to make it more exciting. If you can imagine Wimbledon, but a football tournament, so lots of different pitches. Fans can come in and just mill around and watch any game they want. So
Oh,
I
you
tweet
mean you mean the Wimbledon, like the tennis
Wimbledon.
courts,
So
not
apologies, yeah,
football
no,
club.
no.
I was thinking Laurie
Wimbledon, yeah,
Sanchez and Vinnie Jones. I'm like, what?
yeah, Wimbledon Championships tennis. Imagine that, but with football. That's what we created. But other teams they had there, which pricked my interest. They had Borussia Dortmund, were represented, West Ham United, and Wrexham. Lee Trundle, who I used to watch when I was a kid on Soccer EM, doing all the skills and tricks. He played. They also had Como 1907, who were managed by Cesc Fabregas. And I'm watching it thinking, this is amazing. So when the whistle went for the final and the winning goal, so the winning goal, you win $1 million. That's the whole premise of the tournament. It's $1 million
It's seven
tournament.
aside, yeah.
Seven aside, yeah. I tweeted, Bitcoin ballers will win this in 2024. If enough people believe it, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Please, Satoshi's quote. And basically, they say, memed it into existence. Every time they posted something, I was in the comments, in the DMs. I submitted my application. I actually requested to submit an application, and they went, "Well, we're still getting over this tournament, so we haven't actually done a debrief. But when we do, we'll let you know." 6 months later, 6 months to the day, hadn't heard anything back. So I did another tweet and said, 6 months ago, I said we'd win it. With 6 months to the next tournament, this is what I have planned. I created a list, a Twitter thread of Bitcoin ballers, people that I know who are good footballers that are into Bitcoin or understand Bitcoin. That led to an email to say, well, we've seen your application, we've seen the emails, let's have a chat. So I had a chat with one of the events managers. He then invited me onto another call with the co-founder. So I had a friend of mine, Ian, who you've spoken to via chat. So we were talking on the call. Turns out Ian and the co-founder had something in common. Ian's son plays in the States at a university that the co-founder went to. So I just let them powerball for a few minutes. And so they had ended the conversation. They said, "Was anything you like to ask?" And I said, "Well, yeah, how do I get in?" And they said, "Well, you're in." Like, wow. So they sent me the team agreement. But obviously, there's terms and conditions with the agreement. One of them being paying for their entrance fee, which it's not cheap, but you're playing to win $1 million. So it was to be expected. So now we're at the stage where we're looking for sponsors, partners to enable us to do that. But it's not just entering the tournament. For me, it's creating the legacy, but also building this squad that, one, is going to win it, but also that is going to achieve something. So I've mentioned the Bitcoin Ballers Academy. We have a training program, so that ties in with the diploma. So a 10-week training program where we're helping young people learn about Bitcoin. They can train with elite coaches. Not everyone will make it to the squad that travels, but what you will get out of it is a Bitcoin education, and you will get a 10-week training program. I also have something else planned to tie in with the 3-year anniversary of Bitcoin Ballers, a proof of work event where you can test yourselves with Premier League testing, have it certified, and also walk away with your dossier. I won't give too much away because I don't want other people to maybe jump on the idea. But what I want to allow young people is to experience something different. We're creating something different now that I don't believe anyone else is doing, and it's Bitcoin that's going to enable this. One, the technology; two, the community; and just three, that education that's going to come with it. Let's say, going back to the actual tournament. All this I want to happen before we go to the tournament, but it's going to need, I'd say, a big sponsor to jump aboard, or somebody that thinks, I love what this guy's doing. I've seen what he's done in the last 3 years. I love the proof of work. Let's get it done. And for me, it's not just Bitcoin ballers going, it's Bitcoin community is going to the tournament. I would not be here where I am now if it wasn't for the community. So I thank you again, Daniel, for letting me on the show back in 2021. I came on early. And not a lot of people know this, but at that time, so I'd left construction. As part-time, I was working in Sainsbury's, not stacking shelves. I was the trolley online shopper. So when you place an order online, someone's in store overnight packing the bag. That was me, and that's when I would listen to you. I would listen to UK Bitcoin Master. I would listen to Peter McCormack. That was my education. 8 hours a night, overnight, just consuming everything. And yeah, the people that I've met, where I've been, things I've done is down to the Bitcoin community. So I coined the term, if one wins, we all win. I want as many people on board as possible. Partners, sponsors, just even if you're just there just to support it. If you have an idea, a product, something that's helping the community and educating the community, partner with us and we'll get you noticed. We mentioned Panties for Bitcoin. So they're on board. They will be supplying all the players with the Panties for Bitcoin boxes. They are incredible boxes. I'm wearing mine right now.
I'll take your word for it.
I'm getting ready for the photo shoot for the calendar, because we've had the ladies Panties for Bitcoin calendar. You mentioned Freddie New. Freddie's leading by example. You've seen his physique.
Yep.
We got the 100K a day to 100K push-up challenge, which I would implore everyone to get involved in. That's going to give you the gains that will allow you to wear your panties for Bitcoin boxes with pride.
I'm already 25 in for today. I'm doing.
Yeah,
I started 5 reps of 20. I'm now down to 4 reps of 25. So
wicked. I
yeah,
started on 4 for 20. I made a leap today. I did 33, and then last one 34.
nice, mate. Nice. So hang on. So the calendar's a real thing that's happening.
It better be. That's what I'm training for. The calendar's real for the ladies, yeah. So why not for the men's?
All
Yeah.
right.
What
Okay.
are the
So
women going to look at, Daniel?
yeah, exactly, mate. Well, let's talk about the sponsorship then, because what's the timeline here? How much do you need, and when do you need to like send that check across for the
So
application?
we have a deck which I've sent out to people that which gives the figures. Main sponsor, backer shirt sponsor, sleeve sponsor. They are the biggest packages. Um, so the entry K for the tournament is 40K. We're asking for a bit more than that, obviously to facilitate everything that you want to achieve. You got the insurances, the travel, accommodation, food, and also the training facilities that building up to it. So it's a hefty package, but again, when people see how we've broken it down and what we're working towards, I'm hopefully that they see the value in it. Um, there was something else I was going to mention. What was the other question you asked?
No, yeah, it was this. It's like, how do we get the sponsors? How do we get people involved? How are you going to get the funding? So you've got obviously, yeah, you can get like company logos and stuff on the So you got 3 spots on the shirts.
Yeah, three spots on the shirts. Yeah, and then
And
there's obviously there's track suits, there's bags, and also media packages which we can look at.
has anyone shown any interest yet?
Yeah, we're having some great conversations. Meetings have been planned. They tie in with Madeira. Also, that's what I was going to mention. Sorry. So, in my mind, I would have liked it done before the start of the year. When we signed the agreement, we had the Christmas period, which kind of killed us with meeting and talking with people. Great conversations in January, but obviously time is ticking. So you mentioned when does this have to be done by? Ideally, I would have liked it done end of Jan or signed off, ticked off. But now they are announcing teams. So between February and April, teams are being announced. And how I've been told it works, obviously, if you don't pay, you get bumped down the ladder. We're at the moment, we're probably near the bottom of the ladder. Yesterday, they announced the first team, Nani FC. So Nani, who used to play for Manchester United, he's just now announced that he has Mario Balotelli, as part of his squad. So that's the sort of level we're looking at, a caliber of player.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah, I just
So,
saw that on their Twitter. Yeah.
yeah,
But
one
so
out of
Bella
48, 47 spaces left, and we hope that we are one of them.
so the soon so what comes first, the squad or the cash?
It's a
Chicken or
chicken
egg?
and egg. Chicken and egg. With the cash, you get the cash you get named in the tournament. You can entice players, and also vice versa. If you have the players, that's going to attract the sponsorship.
And what's the plan for the players? Let's start there. Yeah, how are you going to who
So
have you spoken with, and what are
we
you hoping for?
we have a mix that we're hoping for. So glorious number of 21, a squad of 21 mixed between 7 good young players who are vying to be professional footballer. It is open to to anyone, but probably players under contract won't be able to make it. So we're looking at good non-league level in the UK, but in and around the world. Let's say UK because that's where obviously I'll be doing the training. Players, maybe 7 or so, who are ex-professional, coming towards the end of their career this season or have stopped playing recently that we know are good at playing standards. And then you're talking about your ambassadors, players that we know play football, may not have a professional career, but are into Bitcoin. So your Bitcoin football ambassadors. So we've identified those 3 levels or 3 strands. And there are lots of players in each who we are contacting. Um, Biggest one so far who announced who wants to be involved is Izzy Farran, Canadian international. I've haven't said his full name. I do apologize, Izzy. But yeah, he's on board. He still plays now, and he's doing lots of work in the Bitcoin space with his artwork. There are other Bitcoiners, obviously, who we wanted on board, who unfortunately can't.
Yeah, Gibbo. God damn it. Kieran Gibbs, when we put it up to him, he's like, I can't. I've already decided to play for another team. I hope I'm not outing you there, Kieran, but that would have been a great one.
The funniest thing,
Um,
he was when I did the thread of Bitcoin ballers who I wanted in the team. He was the first player.
oh wow. Damn. Next year,
Yeah.
Gibbo. We'll get him on board. Um, so yeah, any other? big names that you're trying to get? So is it any
Lucky,
ages?
any age, yeah. But Lucky Muksana,
Yes, Lucky
Spoken with
Mukasana.
Lucky. We haven't announced yet, but I'm hopefully he'll be involved. Alex Cognali, I'm not too sure contract wise if he'll be able to play. Craig Curran from the
Yep.
UK, Craig. I don't. I'm sure he won't mind me saying he stopped playing just recently, but we want him on board, even if he's just coaching the mindset, his training mindset.
All right. So anybody interested, what are you looking for? Where can they apply?
Um, Reach out to me mainly on you can find me on Twitter, but all socials. Just send me a DM. There is an enrollment form which you can fill out. Obviously, we'd have to manage if you're not local to me or in the UK how we manage the training because you won't have to do the actual training sessions, but you can still do the diploma. So speaking with Panties for Bitcoin, Pablo's son actually runs a football team, and he has some international players that play for their side. So he wants to ask if they can get involved, and I said sure. And it's all about proof of work. Show me your proof of work, and if you're able to get there, we're able to get you there. You're going to be involved. We are. There was no joke when I said Bitcoin Ballers will win a tournament, but the first step was actually getting invited to the tournament. Now we have to get there. Once we're there, we are strategizing and playing to win. There's no make no bones about it.
And I guess another ask from the plebs would be, anybody out there that has any connections at all within the footballing world, like to semi-retired pros, ex-pros, big names. They're always the first ones that you want to try and attract, so then you can build up that buzz.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to mention Connor Okus
Yeah, Spiral.
from Spiral. We have spoken. I'm sure he's involved. He obviously plays football. He loves Bitcoin. Um, Not officially announced yet, but he was one of the ones I had said up I would like to play. He was part of the thread. Again, yeah, it's just connections. It's a network. When you open up your network, think about who you know. Rob Brindon, he's helping me. He's so funny. I tell the story to my friends. He sent me a phone number of a very well-known footballer, but didn't tell me who it was at the start. He said, "I got someone who wants to play." And I said, "Oh, that's fine. Send me his details." He sent the number. I looked at the name and thought, that's incredible. But it's about the connections, isn't it? So for those who don't know, Rob Brindon does a lot of is it not to say mental stuff? What's the word? Mindset stuff with
Yeah,
football clubs. So he used to work with Chelsea closely,
yeah.
and other football clubs.
And his book, Decentralized Mind, you can go and find that on Consensus. It's definitely worth checking out because, and he'll hopefully be given another. He gave a talk last year at Rigo, and I think he's going to be presenting again in Madeira this year. And
That's
him and
right.
his
Yeah.
wife are building like a little homeschool hub as well in Madeira for Bitcoiners or for people, freedom lovers, and focused around Bitcoin and mental health and homeschooling, unschooling, all of that good stuff. So, mate, are you going to be throwing a little tournament in Madeira as well?
There is the Atlantis Football Cup.
All right. Well, shill this.
So the Atlantis Football Cup, again, the world doesn't work in mysterious ways, but when you put work in, you never know how it's gonna show up later on. So I had the Amsterdam tournament planned. There was a job going for Bitcoin Atlantis for social media job, so I applied for it with Andre. Andre responded, said, I've spoken to someone, a mutual friend, Daniel. We don't think this job's right for you, but we have something else in mind. So I jumped on a call. Yeah, we want you to run a football tournament. So I said, oh, have you seen what I'm doing for Amsterdam? And you went, no, what's that? So I explained what I had planned for Amsterdam. He said, oh, that's exactly what we want you to do for Atlantis. So yeah, that's the plan. That's what we're working on now. So on March the 4th, day after the main conference, which is the 1st to the 3rd, I'll be hosting a tournament. You can join the Telegram group. Just send me a DM. I can send you the link for that. And so how things pan out. When I did my tournaments in the UK, the Winter Cup festivals, they were for young people. I went to Amsterdam to do an adult tournament. So I did the training session with adults. But this one, because of Madeira is a family themed festival, it was going to be for children. I don't think that message got across because people had joined the Telegram group said, "Oh, I want to play." Like, okay, what we're going to do, anyone that's interested, get involved in the Telegram group, send me your details. We'll then, at the event, we'll speak with people and we'll see who we got. And then once we're there, we'll decide this is the kids section. If adults want to get involved, this is when you play. But it's, again, open to all, boys, girls, men, women, just come to the event. We'll mix it up. We've got the football. We've got the skills competitions. I'm starting something in 2 days' time as a lead up to the event called Pass It On Challenge, where we're going to pass the ball around the world, literally with peer to peer, and see if we can get it, or see how far we can get it before we land in Madeira. But there are other skills competitions. If you check out my YouTube channel, you'll see those, and we're going to have them on site. So peer to peer, 21 seconds to glow. We might bring the getting off zero challenge as well. But yeah, lots of fun to be had, and lots of education as well for the young people.
So, mate, I'm gonna have to bring Samuel along to that. Then I've got absolutely no choice. He's gonna be all over that. All right, I'll find out more details from you. I'll join the Telegram group and make sure we're fully on board. And I'll tell him to will it be on grass or will it be on Astro?
No, it's a Astro hard surface. So yeah, bring your trainers.
Right. Okay. Yeah, mate, that's gonna be awesome. How did it go in Amsterdam? Was it a good
It
event?
was at the time. I looked around and thought to myself, what's happened? And I explained why. After the event, so much has come from it. I'm glad I did it. So going back to the footballs, everything that could go wrong went wrong.
Mm.
But it led to so much more. So ordered some footballs from in the UK to get them shipped over because I didn't want to travel with them because there were quite a few. So they were in transit. I landed in Amsterdam on a Monday. The event Amsterdam BTC Amsterdam was, I think, Friday and Saturday. That's right. Whatever days they were, we had perfect weather leading up to it. I went to the venue, took photographs. The day of the my event was in between the day one and day two. Woke up on day one of the conference and it lashed down with rain. It was relentless. It did not stop. Now in Amsterdam, most people travel by bike or walk. The venue was 5 minute ride, 10 minute walk, perfect on a nice day. In the rain, nobody wants to venture there. So we persevered. I went to the event, got everything set up at the time. So the marketed the tournament to Bitcoiners coming, but also local Dutch people. So I had some Dutch teams involved through a connection of mine out there. WhatsApp group, teams dropping off, not going to make it, not going to make it. Obviously, most of them travel by bike. So I'm at the event thinking, what's going to happen? Managed to get some people involved, and we didn't have any footballs delivered. And I'll get back to that story in a minute. So going back a few days, I was doing some canvassing around Amsterdam, and I rode past a shop and I saw orange football. So I pulled the brakes, went in the store. The store was called Klabu. So I just had this conversation. Said, "Oh, my name's Coach Carbon. I'm hosting a football competition. I saw the orange ball. And what do you guys do?" And they said, "Oh, we're a charity. We work with refugees, and we use sport, mainly football, to help them. And we bring the community together a couple of times a week. We do fitness sessions, we do football training sessions, and we have not the flagship store. They have stores in different countries, and Amsterdam was one of them, or different cities around the world. So I attended one of their training sessions. So we went to a local sports hall, and we just had fun with one of the fitness coaches there. So that was a connection that I just made. Didn't think anything of it. So when I realized the balls weren't being delivered, my cousin who lives in Amsterdam, I said, "Can you go to Klabu because I know they have some footballs? Can you ask to borrow some?" So he came to the event when I was there in the rain. We had 3 footballs that we were able to use. Otherwise, it just would have been us without any footballs at the event. So after the event, did a training session, had about 10 people involved. Did some of the skill sessions, got some footage. Went away, went to the day 2, thinking to myself, was this the waste of time? Didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve. Came back to the UK and I had a message from an intern at Klabu who said, "We've checked out what you're doing. We love what you're doing. Can we have a conversation?" So I had a conversation with them. Obviously, they supply football kits. We would like to supply Bitcoin wallets with football kits. So, first question, do you do it in orange? Answer is yes. So they will be our main kit sponsor now for the tournament. So I've had a great relationship with them since October, back and forth. In terms of how we can do it. They also have a black kit, which will be our away kit because you have to take 2 kits to the tournament. But for me, it's about the serendipity of the relationship, but also what the message is. So myself as Coach Carvin with Bitcoin Ballers, I want to educate the world on time, which is your energy and your value. Sorry, that is your money. Klabu are helping refugees around the world with creating communities through football. Bringing the two together two entities trying to help their fellow human being using the same medium. So Bitcoin is a universal currency, universal technology. Football is a universal language. Most people around the world know what football is. Bringing the two together, and I'm going to quote Aaron Dawn here, and I've butchered it many times. When your passions and your incentives collide, amazing things happen. I used to say when Bitcoin and your passions collide, but when your passions and incentives obviously mix with Bitcoin, amazing things happen. And for me, the last 3.5 years have been nothing but amazing. Again, people I've met, places I've been, and places where I can see myself going. It is good for podcasts, but behind me, you can see that the hoodies that I've started to make. One for myself. If other people want them, they can buy them from me. But it's about spreading the message, and it's a movement. And I've mentioned that to people I speak to, there's a fire inside, and you see what's going on in the world, and how do you change that? Many people have tried to change it within the system, but you can't change it from within. Hayek, we need a sly roundabout way. And this is it. And once people understand that, that's how I mentioned on why are we bullish. How do we orange pill the world? Or how do we get the world to adopt Bitcoin? It's through your work, whatever you're doing. I'm using football, you're doing podcasts and speaking events. People are doing art, fine art, graffiti art, physical art, digital art. You got people, Freddie knew you're trying to change the policies in terms of government. There's so many people that are doing stuff. Aaron Dawn, who I mentioned, hairdressing. Whatever your passion is, align it with your incentive in Bitcoin, and truly amazing things do happen.
100%, mate. 100%. So how do we get the plebs helping you with the funding? I know you're on Geyser, right? They can send
I'm on
across some
Geyser.
sats.
Yeah. So again, going back to Geyser, I came across Geyser. I was trying to think what year it was. It must have been 21, 22. I think I was their first project, or one of the first projects. It was their first podcast episode anyway. Through that connection, I was then sponsored by Corn Corner, which allowed me to get the first football kit, which then allowed me to put teams in competitions. Like, I would not be here right now without Corn Corner, without Geyser. I met with, I've forgotten his name. He sponsored me as well. Not massive amount, but I met him in Amsterdam and gave him a physical art. I think you have the digital copy, but he bought the physical one, which was through the Geyser fund. So that's that amount of money that he donated helped me, and I was over the moon to meet him in person and hand over the drawing, which was done by BTC cartoons or Bitcoin cartoons of the Bitcoin baller rabbit mascot shooting in the goal, scoring against the dollar, the yen, and the and the pound. But yeah, so I'll have a Geyser page up. I appreciate there were lots of deserving projects on there that could use this money a lot more. I say use it a lot more. They could use the money for the project they're working on. But as I've mentioned, I believe this has an opportunity to get the world to adopt Bitcoin, or to look at it, to have a Bitcoin ballers team. And I am representing the best of the community. We have mainstream media, governments, and banks shoving their FUD to everyone. You see a team at a tournament, mixed, young, old, playing their best, showing their proof of work with a Bitcoin logo on the shirt. The people are going to have a look, to take a look and think, what are these people doing? Who are they? What is Bitcoin? And when they ask that question, I'll be there with the Bitcoin community saying, this is Bitcoin. And it will be someone who's creating underwear, somebody who's doing artwork, somebody who's making clothes, somebody who's making trainers. We are an elite army. There's you look around and see what everybody's doing. That I would argue, how can this be stopped? You
Yeah.
have governments that can try and stop certain individuals, like they did with the truckers in Canada when BTC Sessions was helping them. But every day, someone is joining the network and popping up with an idea. And I'm amazed. I'm amazed that I'm amazed. But every day I look at a project and think, wow, that's incredible. I never thought you could do that. And you're probably best placed, Daniel, obviously with your podcast, to know there's somebody in every single industry that is using Bitcoin. We mentioned at the start of the call, beef, farmers. Farmers are using Bitcoin. You have people that is using obviously stranded energy, but out using that to then sustain whatever they're doing. You have Coin Corner shilling the heaters. I've looked at one now, reasonably priced space heaters. Why would you not heat your room and earn Bitcoin at the same time?
Yeah, it's every every facet of every sector of every profession, and it's only good, just going to keep growing. Uh,
And for people questioning it, the question you have to ask, what have these people seen that I've not yet seen?
mhm.
And different people from all different walks of life. Christy, obviously your financial background, BTC Krista, Access Tribe. I had a great conversation with her for a podcast that I didn't press record on, naughty me, which I apologize for every single time. But her background in finance, what has she seen that I've seen that someone else in El Salvador has seen that we've come to the same conclusion, and we're dedicating now our lives for this project, a project that we're not getting directly rewarded for, only through our proof of work. There is Bitcoin has no marketing team. Yeah, I am the marketing team, but so is Michael Saylor, so is Jack Dorsey, so is Jack Nallers, so is the guy in El Salvador selling pupusas for Bitcoin.
100%, mate. 100%. How do we get you a big sponsor? Where's
Yeah,
that check?
obviously you've helped by giving me a connection to somebody in the I won't dox name, but someone big in the Bitcoin space. But what I've loved is the conversations by reaching out. I've been using LinkedIn recently. I've had great conversations on LinkedIn by just sending a little line and then following up via Twitter, via Nostra, Facebook. I'm using all the social media platforms, but again, the conversation I'm having, I'm creating my own network. So when I have a conversation with one and then the other, oh, we've already spoken about this. There's a crossover, and you realize how the Bitcoin community is small, but it's powerful. But
It,
all I'm conscious now is time.
yeah,
Time is not really on our side, but there is a bit of time left. But time is our most valuable asset. The quicker we can do it, the more opportunity I have then to help more people. But the longer it takes, let's say the lower down the pecking order we go, and we may miss opportunity. I'll be devastated if we do, because to get to where I am right now it's taken a lot of effort. But I wholeheartedly believe that we can make it happen. What's the saying? Dream, believe, achieve.
I guess the like the absolute best case scenario would be to any of the whales out there that are happy to send across one Bitcoin that basically covers it.
Yeah,
Right? That
exactly.
covers it,
Yeah.
and you can start announcing and getting the players on board, and you wouldn't need the company logos or anything like that. You just like put a big B on there and let's go.
That's the other thing, Daniel. So through conversations I've had with people, had conversations with people in Saudi Arabia, which is crazy how that came about. What has been offered, I could have easily taken the money and had a shitcoin sponsor on, or
Yep.
alcohol company or gambling, but that's not the message that I'm promoting. And when I say to people, I appreciate what you're offering and what you're saying, but Bitcoin Ballers is about empowering the young people, the next generation. We can't have that on the front of shit. We can't have these people associated. It's not what I believe in. And although the money right now would help us, it sends a mixed message. So I've put myself in a box or a situation where I'll probably detriment to myself in getting where I want to get to, but principles, I can't do it. So I am looking for Bitcoin only sponsors. I'm speaking with others that aren't Bitcoin only, or aren't in the Bitcoin space. And a friend of mine, Ian, who I'm working with, said, yeah, at the start he would have been the other way and said just take anything. Now he's on my shoulder saying, yeah, but they're not Bitcoin, and
Right.
they're not shitcoin. They're just not in the Bitcoin space. I said, yeah, but it'd be good. They can see the value from it for their promotion. Let's get him on. And he's like, Jay, the conversations we're having, they're going to lead somewhere. We're going to Madeira. We're going to have great conversations. I'm like, if Madeira was February the 1st to the 2nd or 1st to 3rd, I'd be laughing. But it's
Right.
that month later,
Yep.
and we're in the middle of that team announcement. It's like, yeah, it's very, very fine line.
Oh, there's some beautiful synergy there as well. The fact that the whole conference in Madeira is going to be taking part in the football stadium.
Exactly.
That's right there, downtown in Funchal. RJ's done a great job of organizing all of that. I'm very confident, mate, that yes, you will find the right people. And, if anybody's listening that's taken interest in this project, 100% reach out. And I know the pitfalls of like the crypto bros and other people that want to come and throw money at the project to speaking with the Bitcoin racing guys over the last 2 or 3 years, like you you're batting away cheap money, but it's not about that. It's about the message. And even on the podcast, you get approached by people that want to shill You're like, no, like that's not what we're here to do. Like this is not on point at all. So yeah, stay vigilant. Sounds like you've 100% got the right mindset, and I'm pretty certain, like you, something huge will come off the back of it in Madeira. But yeah, it's time. I mean, it's nice to have a low time preference, but when you're
Yeah,
pressured by, out external sources, uh, yeah, we just got to believe.
definitely, definitely. Well, if we believe, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
100%, mate. 100%. All right, so where do we leave it? What's the best way to wrap up here?
Reach out. Obviously, I'm active on socials on Twitter. Reach out to me if you have an idea. Reach out if you have a product that you have. Yeah, just get involved. I mentioned if one wins, we all win. I did a whole month in December or January of just people that I've worked with and collaborated that have got me to where I am, and I want to repay the favor to them, to the community, and just to show, for example, how great the community is. I started a little group of, say, football teams or football entities to say I'm going to Madeira, wanted to get some goodie bags for the kids. A delivery yesterday of nerd miners
No way.
to bring out. There's other people I'm speaking with. So yeah, with these competitions that people are going to take part in, there are going to be rewards, value for value. Your proof of work will be rewarded, but they didn't have to do that. But for them, it's like, we see what you're doing, coach. We appreciate it. Here's something for the young people that are gonna experience what Bitcoin ballers is.
Nerd miners. Oh, that's so great. We need that hash rate up, and we need it in the right hands. And nerd miners are a great way to get that going. They might just be a little bit of a fun project, but who knows where that might go? Like,
Yeah.
really, that's cool. All right, mate. If you had one last orange pill left to give to somebody, who would you give it to and why?
Somebody new was coming to the frame, Daniel, and I'm probably more desperate than ever to get this person. So other appearances, I mentioned Louisa Emilian, British comedian, Angela Rayner, Labour politician. Then I had the CEO of Oxfam, which when I said that on the show, somebody reached out on Twitter, said those people, their incentives aren't aligned to understand Bitcoin, which I totally understand. This next person, I've listened to this person for many years, way before I got into the Bitcoin space. A young black man from the UK, um, a spoken word artist. I would call him maybe, well, not so much an activist, but when I first came across him, I questioned why is he not going to be a politician, and I put him in the league in the ilk of someone like Akala. And when you listen to them, you understand why they can't be politicians, because politicians are a certain way inclined. Is it narcissistic and something else to be a
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
politician?
sociopathic. Yeah.
Sociopathic. Some people obviously get in for other reasons, for good reasons, but they get corrupted, or the incentive structures aren't there, and the decisions they want to make, their hands are tied behind their back. So this person is called George the Poet. I urge everyone to go and check him out. Pre-Bitcoin, I love what he did. His latest series on BBC Sounds, so his podcast is called Have you heard George's podcast, which is a very very apt title. You can listen to it on Fountain app. I think you can earn stats with it as well. I'm not sure he's claimed the actual podcast himself, but you can earn stats listening to it. But his latest episodes talk about Africa as a continent, also the UK, and there's a common theme, and it's the money.
Mm.
Everything that happens, obviously, in the world is down to money, but you write incentive structures. But how Africa has been divided up, how resources are being harvested from Africa now. The Human Rights Foundation, Alex Gladstein, and there are other people that are working on projects that talk about France specifically, and the CAF, what's the acronym, CAF?
The Central African,
Franc. Is
yeah,
it Franc?
yeah,
Yeah.
the
So a currency that France doesn't even use
e-
themselves,
exactly, but
forces other
control.
countries to use to control them. But he speaks about, most recently in his episodes, about Pan African state, the United States of Africa, how that was never allowed to happen, the
Mm.
assassinations that have happened, the leaders that want to bring their communities up, that are forced by the WEF, CIA, to not be able to succeed. But every single episode, he speaks about the money, and when he mentions the IMF and control, I'm like, he's almost there. That missing link. I mean, he may understand it, but it hasn't come across. And someone else who I think understands it but doesn't talk about it is Martin Lewis. And I'm not sure if there's something contractually, if you're connected to media on BBC, that you can't talk about it. But for me, everything he's talking about, you're talking about the money, and you're not going to change it within the system. You need that sly roundabout way. So if I could give one orange pill, it would go to George the poet, and just how eloquently he talks and educates. So I'm educated from listening to his podcast. It makes me want to go and do further reading. Just like when I learned about Bitcoin, I had that quest for knowledge. Listening to George, I have that quest for knowledge about the history of Africa and how it's been controlled and manipulated. I had a little bit of understanding growing up. I had more understanding when I listened to Robert Breedlove, Masters of Slaves and Money series, and
Mm-hmm.
just really spoke about how the agri-beads were a form of inflation that gave control. Listening to George the Poet now, speaking about how markets were distorted, which then led to the slavery system perpetuating, and how that came back to an end. When it came to an end, it wasn't just a few people that thought slavery is bad. There was economic reasons for Britain banning it because it affected France. And then you talk about uprisings in Haiti and how Haiti, as part of the agreement, because they were independent, as part of the agreement with France, they had to then give control back of some sort. So Haiti should be a flourishing country now with the people and the resources, where it's everyone seems to be under a stranglehold. But nobody's saying, people are saying it, but those voices aren't being heard. Like, they're being fucked over by the money, by entities such as the IMF. Who have we had on? Is it Michelle Weekly?
Mm-hmm.
Who talks about her role? Those people who work for these institutions at low level think they're doing a good job. But when you pull back the curtain, scrape beneath the surface, you realize they're never going to work. They're not in it to help people. They're in it for control. I did a vid morning video recently. My wife sent me a message to say it doesn't look good for Coach Carbon, and I'm not sure she might not listen to this. It's not a good look for Coach Carbon because I was ill at the time. You sound drunk. You sound like crazy conspiracy theorist. But for me, I had to send the message out, and it was talking about the way the world is. I spoke about the metronome going back and forth. Fuck them, help the world. Fuck them, help the world. At that point, I did a tweet recently and said, I don't think humanity are going to make it, because on one side you have people messing around with shit coins, ordinals, whatnot. We're trying to fix the money, fix the world, and you're doing whatever you're doing. Then on the other side, you have just complete disregard for human life with wars and stuff that's going on. Like, we are fighting a battle, and it is a battle, but where's the progress? And we are making progress, but at times I look around thinking this is going to be hard, and I appreciate a hard battle. I'm not want to shy away from it, but it's like, how are we going to get everyone to realize that Bitcoin is the way? And then I understand my wife's thoughts, because she understands a little bit. She understands more than what she lets on. I hear her speaking to other people. I think you really understand what you're talking about in terms of Bitcoin. It's getting through. But she understands that other people haven't seen what I've seen. I'm fully open for people to question. They can say you're wrong. They can have their reasons behind it. But watching the video that I did at 4 o'clock in the morning, talking about how we need to fight major institutions and governments, they're probably thinking, this guy was a construction project manager a few years ago. What's he taken?
It does it to you, mate. It rewires your brain, and yeah, once you understand the darkness behind, like, the Federal Reserve System and the capture of people's money and how it's been used as a tool to keep us completely down and suppressed, it's tough. There's a lot of questions need to be answered, and yeah, we are in a battle, and we do have to take money back for the people. And yeah, I completely agree with you. All of this nonsense that's going on at the moment is, I mean, it will eventually make Bitcoin stronger, so it will serve its purpose in some way. And it's exposing bad actors within the space, so we can just, get rid of them and give them no oxygen and airspace, and move on. But that could take a couple of years, right? The block size wars were like 2 years long, and it looks as though we might be marching into one of those things again. But yeah, keep your head down and do what you're doing, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing. And anybody listening that's got their own project, Keep making your panties, keep making your trading cards, keep making your YouTube videos, your songs, your art, whatever. Get to the conferences, find people on Orange Pill app because you need to be around your right people to help you carry forward. And like you said, one foot in front of the other, amazing things happen. You just put yourself out there, you connect, the network grows, the plebs have got you. Anybody listening to this, I'm sure if they can help, they will reach out. And fingers crossed, we can get some sats flowing in and some players signed up and start making our own announcements as a Bitcoin community.
Definitely. And what you just said there is exactly that. It's a call to action. Myself in 2020 started listening to you, and I think I've told you before. I actually was on a toilet break when I messaged you and said, "Daniel, I want to come on the show." I did not know what I was going to talk about, but I just felt inspired to come and speak with you. So we spoke in March. Early March in 21 we spoke, right?
Yeah.
3 years almost to the date. I'm now vying to be in an international tournament with some of the biggest names of football with my brand Bitcoin Borders. So anyone that listening right now, you may be an OG, you may be a new pleb. Find that passion inside your idea, find the incentive structures, link it with Bitcoin, and trust me, yeah, amazing things will happen, and the community will support you in some way. If they how they can, they will. And even if it's just a share, a like, a connection with somebody else, it might not happen straight away. This is 3 years in the making. A lot happened early doors thanks to the community, but again, I've been putting the work in. My wife's seen it. She may argue a bit too much work because I do appreciate I spend a lot of time on social, but for me, that is my work. And you can, when you go on social media, you can decide to be a producer or consumer. You do have to consume some stuff, but you can produce some amazing stuff. And the producing is also in terms of your friendships, your network that you can create. Opportunities are endless, and I'm so excited about the next 4 years. So yeah, master's year, full cycle nearly. Going to that next cycle, I'm so looking forward to it.
Did they give you any idea of numbers that would tune in ratings wise? Did they have any
Yeah,
expectations?
so that's all in the deck, which is on site 70,000 spectators. So if you watch
70,000 spectators in real life. Okay.
over the week, so if you watch the videos, it's like you say seven aside, but it's like being in the football stadium, and they are linked with CNBC. So why watch the final via YouTube and CNBC channel? They're expecting over 1 million views of the final. Obviously through streaming before, after the event, those numbers are going to go up. And with it being the second year, with bigger names involved now, we know teams are coming back. We know teams are coming back bigger and better that went last year that didn't quite perform. And just so people are aware, the team that actually won it, Proof of Work, are a semi-professional side.
Well, they
Yeah, Newtown Pride.
Newtown Pride, just a
Yeah,
bunch of plebs out there.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
What was the biggest professional name there last year, or top five if you off the
I would
top
say,
of
so
your
yeah,
head?
West Ham United, say Borussia Dortmund.
So West
Rex,
Ham took a professional side, not just like a
West,
representative side.
they took their youth team players and some ex pros. So effectively, was a professional team. They
Right.
players that play professionally and players that are going to be pro or at the top of their game at their level. Wrexham had a legends team, but I think they had some young players play as well. USA women's team played.
Hmm.
They were represented. Then now the women's have their own section, so there's 2 1 million prizes to play for. So we will be playing against the best of the best.
Well, yeah, you got Balotelli in there. I'm gonna be I'm following already the Twitter account, looking out for big announcements and Bitcoin ballers, signing up some big names. So all the best,
Just
mate.
well, going back to show what a small world it is. Someone who I played with at Oxford United when we were younger went to the States to live to do a university scholarship. So he messaged me when I said, "Oh, we're playing at TST." He said, "Oh, my friend played in Newtown Pride last year. I'll send you his details." So he's phoned the guy up. I'm expecting some American guy. The guy's only from Birmingham, UK. Did the same thing. Didn't make it as a pro in the UK. Went to America. He's been playing pro for a few years. Joined a team that was going to play in a tournament. They, I think, couldn't pay the funds. So he then got put into another team. Again, couldn't pay the funds. He phoned his mate, I think a month before the tournament, said, "There's a space. Should we put a team in?" So his mate, who owns Newtown Pride, said, "Yeah, let's do it." He did what I'm doing now, rallied his mates who were good at played football, did a training program only a few weeks. So we've got the advantage of having a few more weeks in the bank, went to the tournament and absolutely smashed it.
That's amazing. Walked away with $1 million between them. That's outrageous.
And it goes to show your proof of work on the day at the tournament. Have you got what it takes?
And there are like, yeah, so we didn't talk about that. Sorry, people for wrapping this up early. But you said it's straight up football rules, but with a little twist. So what are the twists?
So the twists are every game finishes on a goal, which I explain how. So you have your 40-minute game, 2 20-minute halves, 7v7. At the end of the game,
is it rolling subs or are you set?
Rolling subs. So you can have a squad of, I think, 21. I think you can name 18 per game. So rolling subs. So yeah, you're going to be fit to last, but there is an opportunity to rest. But after the 40 minutes, whatever the score is, there's then a target score. So say Bitcoin Ballers are playing against Nani FC and Bitcoin Ballers are losing 3-0. Target score is now 4. So the first to score the 4th goal wins, or to score 4. So if Bitcoin Ballers score 4 goals, we win the game. So that's the premise of it. So you're never out until you score the winning goal. Nani FC might decide we're gonna play it tight at the back, and we're getting an opportunity. We're gonna score that 4th goal. But so Nani FC don't just have a back line of 6 players and a goalkeeper, and it's boring. Every 3 minutes, one player comes off the pitch from both teams. So you could end up with a goalkeeper against the goalkeeper, full-size pitch, trying to score that 4th goal.
And one guy might rattle 4 past the other guy. Right.
Exactly.
Hey, that's madness. All right. Okay. That's good fun.
Yeah. So we get entertainment value. You're never going to be disappointed. You're never going to have a 0-0 game.
So after 40 minutes, it's never right. Pack up and go home.
No. So you're incentivized then in the game to score as many goals as possible. But by trying to score as many goals as possible, you then sacrifice your defense that you might then concede some goals, and then it becomes a very competitive game. It might be a high-scoring game, 3-3. Target scores 4. Who scores that winning goal? You might smash and win 7-0, but you still got that chance, and you might lose 8-7. How are you gonna strategize to win that game?
All right, mate. All right. So that's a lot of pressure on the coach to get the chess moves right. Is that your job, or are you going to have some help on that?
So initially, when I tweeted Bitcoin Ballers will win it, we obviously had teams and competitions. Our senior proof of work right now in tournaments is 2 for 3. We've won 2 and we got to the semi-finals of 1. So I had players that I've identified that I think could bring with us. When I've seen the standard, the caliber, and what we want to achieve to win it, I think I've done myself out of the team. I think I'm going to be backroom staff. We are speaking with coaches that we think have the ability and have the proof of work that have won tournaments at junior and senior level that we want on board. So yeah, I would probably have a less of a role in the tournament as a player and management. I would like to, because you can name it a big squad, name myself as a player that could possibly have 5-10 minutes to say I did participate, I did contribute. But yeah, we are looking for, say, elite players that will win the tournament. And as much as I think I'm good at football, I possibly couldn't contribute as much as others.
All right. Well, awesome. All right, mate. Well, thanks again for coming on. Thanks for what you're doing for Bitcoin. Thanks for all your education.
There's one more shield, and I should have done it. Bitcoin Fest in April by the guys at Carlton Town.
Yes, of course. Yes. I've been shilling that for Simon I saw Simon on Sunday. Yes. Yeah. So Carlton FC, they're based where? Nottingham, yeah.
And so semi-pro team taking on Bitcoin payments, Bitcoin Standard as a club. Have decided to do a festival. It looks incredible. Some great speakers. And then I'm there as well. I won't say myself included, but they've asked me to speak, so I'm going to speak with my knowledge on Bitcoin and football. Ben Art will be there. Victoria Evans will be there, amongst others. So it's going to be really good. So you've got the speaking event, festival first, then the game, and then I think there's some music afterwards.
Excellent. Yes, he sent me some details. Full day of Bitcoin talks in the morning, including Ben Ark, Victoria Jones, Simon James Dewar from Bridge to Bitcoin, who's going to be announcing something actually. Coach Carbon, yourself, Renegade Investor, and then you got the football at 3 p.m. and Joe Martin's going to come play music later in the evening from around 6:30, and a DJ as well until like last man standing, and it's free. But I love it's actually you can get a VIP ticket. So this is 6th of April. in Carlton, in Nottingham. It's free admission. Just roll up. If you do want a VIP ticket, it's £5, and that gets you a bacon roll. Such a pleb initiative. I love it. That's what we're here to do.
Again, it goes to show people are doing incredible things. I'm using football. Other people are using football. Forgot to mention Botev Plovdiv in Bulgaria, who have put the Bitcoin logo on their shirt.
Yep.
I think they're going to be represented at Madeira. I'm speaking with Yona shortly. People are using what they love as a way to spread the message, and also then create value, get value back, understand the power of the community. Again, how can this be stopped?
You can't stop it, mate. You can't stop truth. You just can't.
Bitcoin is hope, truth, the way.
Exactly. All right, mate. Well,
it's not a
great.
cult. It's not a cult, Daniel. It's not a cult.
It's not a cult. It's not a laser-eyed cult doing 100 push-ups a day.
When you say it like that, someone's going to clip that.
All right, brother. Well, have a great day, and yeah, good luck. And yeah, I'll be in touch. I'll be in touch again soon.
Will do. Thank you for everything you do. Appreciate it. Plebs out there, find that passion. Yeah, make it work. Align Bitcoin with it, and yeah, I'll see you in the Citadel.
Love it, mate. See you later.
Bye bye.